No, I'm saying you're not deserving if you're obese. You don't deserve a guy that makes 6 figures if you're obese.
Hey everybody, welcome back. We're gonna talk about that clip today and some others, but before that, we just hit 15K subs on here, and that is really hard for me to believe. I really appreciate you all so much, and I want to do something on here to celebrate that milestone. My first thought was a Q&A video, but we'll see. Either way, thank you to everyone who's been supporting this channel in any way. We're gonna celebrate, but for today, we're gonna talk about these TikToks.
Guys, this is groundbreaking! Apparently fat people are not oppressed anymore. Oh my god, you solved it. You saved us!
Marissa is replying to a comment that says, being fat isn't a form of oppression, and they followed it with a list of things they actually view as oppressions.
I dare you to go read anything about intersectionality. Body size will be included in the list of intersections. Now let's use Wikipedia as an example. Definition right there. Examples of these factors include, woohoo! Religion, race, ethnicity, class, sexuality, stability. Oh, look! Wait! Oh no! What are we gonna do? No one is comparing them. The only person comparing them is you. The same systems of oppression that affect Black people, trans people, disabled people, guess what? Those same systems affect fat people. But yeah, intersectionality is the answer to your question. Fat white people are not oppressed for their whiteness, they're oppressed for their fatness. Hope that answers your question.
Her own Wikipedia research is working against her. Weight is listed as a factor that can create advantages and disadvantages for a person. It's a singular factor in our socio-political identities. And if you noticed, a lot of the factors she listed can't be changed by diet and exercise. So when your master status or the most socially consequential of your identities is something like your race, you're experiencing consequences for something you have no control over. When your weight is the aspect of your identity creating the most obstacles for you, you have options. But I do think your options become more limited when you're lying to yourself about things like your weight being completely inconsequential to your health.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but despite what Kim Kardashian posts, your body fat percentage really doesn't matter. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Kim Kardashian posted a now deleted Instagram story that showed her body fat percentage some time ago and her body fat percentage now. I'm not going to post it on here because even if you haven't had a disordered relationship with food and or your body, this kind of thing is pretty flipping triggering. So I'm not going to post it here. But it basically showed that she'd gone from being, I don't know, in the normal body fat percentage range to being in the athlete body fat percentage range. Despite what she posts, your body fat percentage really doesn't matter. It's completely irrelevant. Unless you are actually an elite professional athlete and your profession depends on your body fat percentage. And don't even get me started on how disordered and warped the elite sports world is. That's for a whole nother video. In actuality, I find it quite sad that Kim Kardashian assigns so much value to her body fat percentage. It didn't really come as much of a surprise, but this is just so you know, your body fat percentage is completely irrelevant and has no bearing on your self-worth, despite what Kim Kardashian posts.
It really bothers me that this misinformation is usually disguised as some body positive, liberating message that's supposed to empower people. Your body fat percent is consequential to your health and wellness. Low body fat and excessive body fat harm us. There's mountains of evidence-based research to support this conclusion. And rather than just acknowledging that maybe Kim Kardashian is once again promoting something unrealistic and having a productive conversation about that or healthy weight ranges, we have to go to this childish fantasy place where body fat is completely irrelevant and pretend that that's liberating people. If knowledge is power, fat acceptance is...
It's not real power.
It's fake power.
This is a physical therapist TikTok who says, I don't know who needs to hear this, but muscle mass peaks in the third decade of life and declines 3 to 8% each decade after, with speedier declines after 60. Insufficient activity is the fourth leading cause of mortality. Make sure your why for exercise is healthy and sustainable. Program accordingly. You need this ish for life. And you'd think that there's nothing here to argue with, but
So I'm in bed and I was researching this because I was like, wow, that's interesting. I couldn't find any research to support it.
I'm guessing she didn't look very hard or maybe at all. This information is really accessible. I actually don't know how she would have found any information to contradict the fact that we lose muscle mass as we age, or that sedentary lifestyle has major adverse health consequences.
You know what else I didn't find? No one, not even the most fat-phobic sources of medical information, claim that fatness causes death. But I thought that's why everyone was on diets, because they were doing it for their health. Even the CDC. You guys, if you want to be on diets, that's perfectly fine. Just admit you're doing it because you want to look a certain way. Period.
This one is really similar to the one from Marissa, where the data she's sharing is actually compelling evidence to stay in a healthy weight range, not evidence that weight is some irrelevant factor in our health. The top of all those charts for leading causes of mortality is cardiovascular disease and stroke. And per her own CDC source, within the top risk factors for both of those are diet and body size, which are risk factors for other illnesses also. So there are really solid reasons to stay in a healthy weight range that have nothing to do with beauty standards. And she actually just gave them to us whether she realized it or not.
No, I'm saying you're not deserving if you're obese. You don't deserve a guy that makes 6 figures if you're obese.
So that's clearly deranged, but I think it is a good example of the word obese being used as a slur.
This is another one of those clips where I completely understand why people are responding with anger. This opinion of hers really wasn't worth sharing, in my opinion. But now that she has, of course, people don't like it.
You look like your name's Samantha. Samantha, can I call you Samantha? I'm gonna call you Samantha. Anyways, so your little co-stars or whatever on that podcast, they was trying their best to get you to shut your ass up because they knew that the next thing that come out your mouth was gonna sound stupid as shit and it was gonna stir the pot. But now that it did, I'm finna get on your ass.
So again, that makes sense to me. But what doesn't make sense to me is saying that the word obese is being used as a slur here.
Because when in casual conversation that word is used, it is typically in this context, which is someone talking about fat people or a fat person, and starting to get angry and needing to really like punch something, really like zing on something. And they can't use the word fat anymore. They can't use the word big anymore. They can't use the word plus size or chubby. They have to say obese. They have to just, you know? And anyone can deny that that's a slur as much as they want, but you use it like one. So
it's especially hard to understand how obese is a slur, but terms like death fat are somehow liberating. If she had said even something like infinifats don't deserve 6-figure men, I would have felt even more uncomfortable listening to her talk. I think when people actually want to be harmful to describe overweight people, they make rude comparisons to animals or get even more creative. And that is the kind of conversation definitely worth having. But trying to convince people that obese is a slur just detracts from that conversation. It's not adding to the cause here.
It's almost not worth thinking about.
6 figures if you're obese.
Coming real close for this one. We deserve the rich men more, right? Because our clothes are more expensive. We eat more. Our grocery bills are higher. We're just so fat and lazy that like we literally like never work. And we need a nice rich sugar daddy to buy us everything that we need. You skinny bitches can buy your clothes in the kids section of Walmart.
Here's a picture of me and my fiance that makes over 6 figures.
at my undergrad graduation in New York City. A trip he paid for on Halloween, where we were Sailor Moon and Tuxedo Mask. In New York City, a different time for another trip that he had paid for in DC for one of my best friend's birthdays. Again, where he paid. Hey, come on. Come on.
I couldn't help but notice that most of the creators who stitched this video were only outraged at the part where people were being valued for their body, and not the other half where people were being valued for their paycheck.
Sorry, did you accidentally replace your birth control with a red pill? Because it's been a minute since I've heard something so heinously offensive. What obese women really don't deserve is to be talked down to.
There's a not so subtle commentary here about men who make less than 6 figures.
You don't deserve a guy that makes 6 figures.
She didn't say don't deserve good men or don't deserve love. She said don't deserve 6-figure men. So it's worth pointing out how her entire opinion is trash and not just the part about what overweight women deserve. We're gonna call it here for today. Thank you for coming to hang out on this video with me and making it all the way to the end if you're still here. Let me know your thoughts down below. Before I say bye, I just want to touch base since it's been a while on here. I've been a lot less active on here than I'd like to be. I've just been dealing with a lot in my personal life, and usually that doesn't slow me down, but it's been affecting my appetite a lot and making it really hard to eat for a while now. And I've been trying to work and exercise regardless, but I finally crashed here recently and I'm sort of swinging back. So I'm gonna get caught up this week, and I really hope everyone's taking better care of themselves than I have been, for real.